Writing the Shadow. Turn your inner darkness into words. Written and narrated by Joanna Penn. Introduction. What is the shadow? How can I be substantial if I do not cast a shadow? I must have a dark side also, if I am to be whole. C.G. Jung, Modern Man in Search of a Soul. We all have a shadow side, and it is the work of a lifetime to recognise what lies within and spin that base material into gold. Think of it as a seedling in a little pot that you're given when you're young. It's a bit misshapen and weird, not something you would display in your living room, so you place it in a dark corner of the basement. You don't look at it for years, you almost forget about it. Then one day you notice tendrils of something wild poking up through the floorboards. They're ugly and don't fit with your Scandi minimalist interior design. You chop the tendrils away and pour weed killer on what's left, trying to hide the fact that they were ever there. But the creeping stems keep coming. At some point you know you have to go down there and face the wild thing your seedling has become. When you eventually pluck up enough courage to go down into the basement, you discover that the plant has wound its roots deep into the foundations of your home. Its vines weave in and out of the cracks in the walls, and it has beautiful flowers and strange fruit. It holds your world together. Perhaps you don't need to destroy the wild tendrils. Perhaps you can let them wind up into the light and allow their rich beauty to weave through your home. It will change the look you have so carefully cultivated, but maybe that's just what the place needs. The Shadow in Psychology. Carl Gustav Jung was a Swiss psychologist and the founder of analytical psychology. He described the shadow as an unconscious aspect of the human personality, those parts of us that don't match up to what is expected of us by family and society, or even to our own ideals. The shadow is not necessarily evil or illegal or immoral, although of course it can be. It's also not necessarily caused by trauma, abuse, or any other severely damaging event, although again it can be. It depends on the individual. What is in your shadow is based on your life and your experiences, as well as your culture and society, so it will be different for everyone. Psychologist Connie Zweig, in The Inner Work of Age, explains, "The shadow is that part of us that lies beneath or behind the light of awareness. It contains our rejected, unacceptable traits and feelings. It contains our hidden gifts and talents that have remained unexpressed or unlived. As Jung put it, the essence of the shadow is pure gold." To further illustrate the concept, Robert Bly, in A Little Book on the Human Shadow, uses the following metaphor. When we are young, we carry behind us an invisible bag, into which we stuff any feelings, thoughts, or behaviours that bring disapproval or loss of love. Anger, tears, neediness, laziness. By the time we go to school, our bags are already a mile long. In high school, our peer groups pressure us to stuff the bags with even more. Individuality, sexuality, spontaneity, different opinions. We spend our life until we're 20 deciding which parts of ourselves to put into the bag, and we spend the rest of our lives trying to get them out again. As authors, we can use what's in the bag to enrich our writing, but only if we can access it. My intention with this book is to help you venture into your shadow and bring some of what's hidden into the light and into your words. I'll reveal aspects of my shadow in these pages, but ultimately this book is about you. Your shadow is unique. There may be elements we share, but much will be different. Each chapter has questions for you to consider that may help you explore at least the edges of your shadow, but it's not easy. As Jung said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. The latter procedure, however, is disagreeable and therefore not popular. But take heart, creative. You don't need courage when things are easy. You need it when you know what you face will be difficult, but you do it anyway. We are authors. We know how to do hard things. We turn ideas into books. We manifest thoughts into ink on paper. We change lives with our writing. First our own, then other people's. It's worth the effort to delve into shadow. So I hope you will join me on the journey. Who am I and why did I write this book? I'm Jo Frances Penn. I'm an award-nominated New York Times and USA Today best-selling author of thrillers, dark fantasy, crime and travel memoir as J.F. Penn. I also write non-fiction self-help for authors as Joanna Penn. At the time of writing, I'm in my late 40s, and I live with my husband Jonathan and my 2 British short-hair cats, Cashew and Noisette, in Bath, England. I've been a full-time author-entrepreneur since 2011, and before that, I used to implement accounts payable systems into companies across Europe, Australia and New Zealand. I first learned of Carl Jung's principle of the shadow when I studied psychology at A-level, aged 16 to 18 here in the UK. I later studied psychology of religion as part of my Masters in Theology at the University of Oxford, 1994 to 1997, where I read Jung and many other perspectives. In 2005, I did a graduate diploma in psychology at the University of Auckland, New Zealand, and considered becoming a clinical psychologist. That's also the year I started writing my first book, which led to me becoming an author instead. Over the years, I've continued to study elements of psychology and have woven its principles into my stories as well as my self-help books. But of course, self-development is the journey of a lifetime, and we are all a work in progress. I cannot claim to have solved all of my issues, let alone brought everything that remains in my shadow into the light. I've been writing this book on and off for many years, first in my journals and then in various manuscript forms, but I backed away from finishing it until now. Writing my memoir, Pilgrimage, unblocked a great deal and helped me overcome my fear of sharing more openly. I've also crossed a threshold into middle age, and it's been a journey of such change that I finally feel ready to share this book. While my personal experience will be different to yours, I hope you find this book useful as you face your own challenges on the path ahead. What's in the book? Part 1 goes into the various ways you can tap into your shadow. Since it lies in the unconscious, you cannot approach it directly. You need tools to help reveal it in different ways. You will find ideas here, ranging from personality assessments and identifying shadow personas to mining your own writing and exploring your true curiosity, as well as ways to protect yourself so you don't get lost in the dark. Part 2 explores how the shadow manifests in various aspects of our lives. I discuss the creative wound and how it may still be holding you back in your writing life, as well as aspects of traditional and self-publishing. Then expand into work and money, family and relationships, religion and culture, the physical body and aging, death and dying. Part 3 explores ways that you can find the gold in your shadow and turn your inner darkness into words through self-acceptance, letting go of self-censorship, deepening character and theme in your work, and opening the doors to new parts of yourself. While the book is designed to be read in order, You can also skip directly to the sections that resonate the most. There are resources and questions at the end of every chapter that will help you reflect along the way. You can answer these questions in your own journal or use the companion workbook if you prefer to write in a more structured way. Right, let's get into it.